are 5 things that they don't tell you about freshman year. Number 1, it might be harder to make friends than you think it will be. The first few weeks will essentially be like this. Snapchat after Snapchat after Snapchat. You will get so many Snapchats because you think, oh, me and this person, we're gonna be like best friends forever, but you're really not. And it is pretty nice for the first few weeks. You feel like you're gonna have all of these connections, but from my experience, those connections don't really last. And even the friends that you meet at orientation, you think like, oh, we're gonna be friends. We're actually gonna keep in contact during the year. And that can either go one of 2 ways. 1, you actually keep in contact with them and you actually hang out with them, or 2, you get their Snapchat or their phone number and then you literally never see them again. I actually do know of a few people, including myself, who are still friends with some of the people from orientation. Shout out Stephanie. And orientation is definitely a good way to make friends, but this goes for orientation and welcome week. You need to focus on maintaining those friendships. You have to be the person to reach out if they don't reach out to you. After you get that Snapchat from the person at the dining hall, the next day try to snap them and be like, hey, do you want to get lunch together? Do you want to go to the football game? It's all about maintaining those connections. It's better to focus on a few people and try to hang out with them than trying to get Snapchats from everyone. You will not see 80% of the people that you talk to for the first 2 weeks. Like, they'll just be gone. Another thing is that even if you go to a big school, chances are a lot of people already have friends from high school. And you think people would want to leave their high school friend groups, which is the case for some people, but for others, they already have a friend group. It can make it feel like it's too late to make friends, but that's really not the case. I also recommend looking for friends in classes, and this is a given, but this is something where you don't have to work as hard to maintain the friendship, because if you just sit by them every single day, then there you go, you're friends. Other advice I have to give, consider joining a living learning community. I really wish I had done this my freshman year. A living learning community is basically where you choose a certain theme community or some topic. I don't really know that much about them, but you live in the same place in the dorm, which is so nice. Oftentimes you have to take another course or you have to do community service or something related to whatever theme community that you're living in. From what I've seen from, an outsider, the course load is different for each community, so you should do some research on that, but it looks like a great opportunity because they force you to do activities, which means you actually get to know the people on your floor. Number 2, you won't participate in as many clubs as you think. Now, in high school for me, I was in a lot of clubs and I did so many extracurriculars. Your college will most likely have something like a festival. All of the clubs and sports groups are just laid out in like an area. We were packed like sardines walking through like where the tables were, and there were so many people there, but it was really cool. All of the clubs will sound interesting and you think, I'm gonna join Ultimate Frisbee. This is going to be me. And then you'll sign up for the email list and you will get a bunch of emails and it'll be really annoying. If I have any advice, it would be to not sign up for the email list until after you go to the mass meeting. These clubs will have slips of paper, or you could always take a picture of when their mass meeting is and where it is. Let me tell you, I had planned to go to a lot of mass meetings and I would end up being so tired that I wouldn't even go to the first meeting. And if I wouldn't go to the first meeting, then I definitely won't be going to any of the other meetings. Do not feel stressed if you don't join 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or, as many as you had in high school, because this is college and it's different. I ended up joining 2 clubs and that was enough for me. Like, I want to join more. Number 3, you might not be friends with your roommate. Some people might already be going into college thinking, I'm not going to be best friends with my roommate. I already know that. But for other people, they might be thinking, oh, my roommate and I are going to be best friends and we're going to talk forever. The biggest debate, to go in blind or to not go in blind. So for me, I went in blind. I actually really lucked out going in blind because my roommate was amazing and I had no issues whatsoever with her. We never got into arguments. We never had any issues with each other, at least on my side. But I've heard different stories from other people. I've actually heard more bad stories from people who chose a roommate off of Facebook, because you have this notion that they're going to be great because when you talked with them or you FaceTime with them, everything was fine and you got coffee with them that one time, and then you live with them and it's a completely different story. My friends have had issues where their roommate doesn't approve of their habits or their sleeping schedule or working out or doing homework. It's like, I've heard of a lot of issues. And of course, if you really know the person, then yeah, room with them. If you think that it's going to work out, do that. If you're stressed out about going in blind, I think it makes the experience way more fun. If you really, really, really hate your roommate. You can actually do roommate swaps. Number 4, you might not be close with the other people in your hall. I talked to this girl who's a year older than me, and she said that her hall was like a sorority, and that was not like the case for my hall at all. Yeah, sure, we were friendly with each other, and I would say hi in the hallway, and then they wouldn't say hi back, they would look away. We just always had our doors closed, and I'm like, what is this? I want to be friends with everyone in my hall. I thought it was going to be so cool. Like, I thought we were going to be like a sorority, and that just didn't happen. Something that I think every hall should do in the beginning of the year when everyone's eager to make friends is to have like a door open thing where everyone has their doors open, and this is like forced. It has to be forced, you know? Because if it's not forced, people aren't going to do it. They're going to think it's lame, but it's really not lame if you actually do it, because it's a really good way to meet people. So everyone has their doors open, and you kind of just like mingle in and out of people's rooms. In the beginning of the year, I had just like walked into people's rooms and you can't do that after the first week, and like that was actually good. Like, yeah, maybe I wasn't best friends with the people's rooms that I just walked into, but it made the hallway interactions way more fun because they would actually say hi back. Even if your RA doesn't suggest the door open thing, you guys will all probably be in a group chat, so text in the group chat and say, we should do this. I would talk to people in my hall individually, and we would talk about how our hall, everyone in my hall wanted it to be more social, but no one wanted to speak up. I wish I had been the person to speak up because I feel like it would have made my experience way better. Number 5, dining hall madness. It's okay to eat alone at the dining hall. I know some people, if not most people, are scared of eating alone at the dining hall. They think it's going to make them look like a loner or a loser, but in college, no one really cares. In college, half the people eat alone because you're in between classes. You might have 30 minutes or 20 minutes to eat, and you just need to sit down, eat, and get out of there. A lot of people eat alone, and it is not something to be worried about. In the beginning of the school year, if you're nervous about eating alone, then ask people if you can sit down with them. And usually it works out fine when it's in the first 2 weeks because most people want to make friends. But after like 4 or 5 weeks, you can't just sit down with random people anymore. Sometimes you will have to wait 20 minutes in line to get a custom sandwich. But if you know it's worth it, then it's worth it. Rush hour at the dining hall is insane. The lines get so long for certain places. I recommend going during off hours like 3 o'clock or 8 o'clock because most people eat lunch at noon or 1, and I was never the type of person to eat lunch at noon. I'm a person who eats lunch at 2 or 3, and if your dining hall was like my dining hall, they'll have limited options. They won't be serving everything, but that was never an issue for me. And during these rush hour times, it will be very hard to get a table with 3 or 4 people. You will be walking around for 10 minutes. Also, big advice. Do not overeat. The thing is, you think that meal will be gone. You think, oh my gosh, this is the only time they're going to serve mac and cheese. I have to eat it now. And this is the only time they serve chicken tenders. I have to get the chicken tenders with my mac and cheese. Oh my gosh, this is the only time they're going to have cake. I also have to eat that cake. And I'm like, whoa. Meals repeat. They probably only have 10 to 20 different meals, and they rotate. So you just have to tell yourself, it's okay. The mac and cheese will be back. You will be fine. The freshman 15 is real, so do not overeat. Just try not to. I know it's hard, but just tell yourself that this meal will be back. Also, the desserts are the best tasting food there, no doubt. And that's pretty dangerous. It's like they want us to get fat. Like, that's it. Also, if you have an app or there's a menu anywhere online and it says that there's going to be certain food, sometimes they won't have that food. Other notes is that oftentimes the meat will be undercooked. Can you go vegan in the dining hall? Yes, you can, but they won't have the best options depending on which dining hall you were at. But I could definitely do it at my dining hall. I never went into the gluten-free section, but usually there's a section like a pantry or a room, but I actually don't think the options were that great. So if you're gluten-free, it might be hard. Also, back to the portion sizes, you can ask the staff for smaller portion sizes because sometimes they give you like an insane amount of food and you can just be like, hey, can I just have like a little bit and not a lot? And another piece of advice involving the dining hall, be nice to the staff. They make your food, they serve their food, and they stand there for hours on end. Even if it's the morning and it's like 7:30 or 8 o'clock or 8:30 or whatever time of day, just be nice to them. So there you go. There were 5 things about freshman year that they don't really tell you in the brochure. There's definitely a lot more freshman year things I could talk about. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below if I missed anything or you want to hear me talk about anything else. Bye, and thank you for watching this video.